Hey foodies, I want to show you how to make a spinach ravioli with a sun-dried tomato and feta filling in a brown butter sauce with some mushrooms. So let's just jump right into it. It's really easy and I love making fresh pasta. And I think if you tried making fresh pasta, you too would agree with me. Fresh pasta tastes so good. And you want to start with your flour, and I'm using Frankie's gluten-free all-purpose flour blend, and a pinch of salt. And this is my spinach, and I just pureed the spinach with my hot water. So I'm just gonna pour that right in, and I'm gonna take my spatula. What a color that is. Wow. And then my egg, and I like cracking my eggs in a separate container, mainly because I want to make sure that the egg hasn't churned, and also nothing's worse than biting into a shell when you're eating something that you took all this time to make, and then you're like, oh, there was that crunchy bit that shouldn't have been there. And no, there's no shell in there. So in that goes, and then I just mix this up. And because of the spinach, I might need a little bit more water. But it's looking pretty good so far. And look at that. Didn't have to add any extra water. That took maybe 30 seconds. Didn't take long at all. So I'm gonna put this out on my counter here. I'm not gonna get rid of my bowl just yet. I'm just gonna set it there. I'm just gonna clean off my spatula because I just wanna work this with my hands a little bit. And what I'm gonna do, because there's a little bit of stickiness there, I'm just going to take a little bit more of my gluten-free flour and just massage it in just a little bit. That feels really nice. I'm not even going to use it all. I'm going to use more of it when I'm rolling it all out. Okay, so I'm going to set this right there. I'm just going to tip it upside down, and it's just going to sit there. I'm going to take my bench scraper and just scrape that off because I want to work on my filling. And for my filling, I've got 2 ingredients: feta and sun-dried tomatoes. I mean, it's not that complicated. So we're just going to finely chop the sun-dried tomatoes. And I find these do need to be finely chopped. You want nice, soft, sun-dried tomatoes as well. Sometimes when I dehydrate my tomatoes, they get a little crispy, and those aren't the ones you want to use in a filling with essentially a pastry, because they're going to poke through. You want the nice, soft, gooey ones that have rehydrated with oil nicely, and they're just sumptuous. Oh, what a great word, sumptuous. Okay, so there's that. And then we'll do the feta. Same thing, but I'm going to start by just chopping it into little bits. And I guess I could easily just pick it up and crumble it in my fingers. But I'm going to just chop it because I already started. And you can see it's already crumbling. It's not going to take much. There we go. I'll go this direction. All right. Now I'm just going to take a fork and I'm just going to see if I can mash the feta up just a little bit, get it even finer, because I want it to almost be a paste when I mix it into the sun-dried tomato, and I can see it starting to become a paste. And I could always put this into my food processor or my blender and get that to go. But I think going blenderless or food processorless today, it's not a bad thing. We can always not rely on too much of technology. Looks really good so far. Look at that. Okay. So now, let's mix this together. I'm just going to use my fingers and the fork. That's better. And what I'm doing now is I'm mashing it with my hands as well, just to really pulverize that cheese and get it to clump together. And it's not even really sticking to my hand, which is wonderful because of the oil from the sun-dried tomatoes. Now, I think we need one more ingredient with this, but I'm gonna have to try it first. Okay, I'd say that's pretty much there. There's a couple lumps here and there. Maybe one or two more squeezes. There we go. Let me rinse my hands off. Okay, I gotta try it first. Get myself a spoon. That's what I thought. It needs some pepper, just to heighten the flavor. Okay, so I'll just mix that in. Oh, I can tell already it's going to be good. It doesn't need salt because the brine from the feta is plenty. Okay, let's give that another try. Oh, I got a long spoon this time. There. That's perfect. Oh my goodness. I could just eat a bowl of that. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. Now it's time to roll out a dough. Oh, that looks so nice. Okay, so some bench flour, and I'm going to generously dust this. It's a very soft dough, as you can see. But it's also very wet. Might need to add a bit more flour. But that's where the bench flour comes in. Okay, I am going to switch to my pasta roller. Got a little extra pasta there. And let's see. Oh, yeah, it's sticking. So we'll just unstick it a little bit. And then we roll it up. Yeah, you can see the pasta has absorbed all of that moisture, sorry, all of that flour. And then we just throw more flour down. Wow, I'm getting my words mixed up today. And then we unroll that. I'm going to squish that there. And then we roll it this way. Oh, come on, don't be so sticky on me. It's just the ends that are so sticky. There we go. There we go. And run this around to the edges again. I think we're getting there. Maybe one more pass. Yeah. Or maybe not. That might be, I'm going to say that's good actually. Okay, so I'm not worried about some of the bits that have crinkled over or fallen off, because that's all going to get reused when I ball it all up again. Okay, so I'm going to start, and you can use a knife or you can use one of these fun pasta wheels, and I'm going to cut just an edge just to give me some perspective. And I'm going to square that off. There we go. And let's square that off. Okay. So we're going to do some ravioli. Let's make them pretty big. I think so. And let's go, so halfway, so there, so that goes to there. Okay, so we take our pasta, our filling, and we're going to do bits of filling. Oh, I'm doing the wrong side. I got to go up a little bit. And the reason why I was doing the wrong side is I want to lift it and I want to fold it over. There's two. And I want to have a nice, good distance between the two so that we can get lots of adhesion for the pasta. And I think I'm being a little overly ambitious by getting a fourth one, but I think I can do it. If I tuck this one over just a tiny bit, and that one just an even less tiny bit. Okay, and then I wet my fingers. I need a little container for water. There we go. So we're just going to wet that. You stay in, Feta. Okay. And we just go down the sides. And then we can't forget to do this side. It's probably not super necessary, but I like safety. I like my little safety net. Okay. I'm going to set my water aside. Oh, it just tore. Okay. Oh, I think I can save it. I think I can save it. Here we go. So I'm pressing in between each ravioli. Okay, and then I just run my cutter down and in between each one. Now let me get a plate. So I'm going to pick this up where it was going. So I might be able to fix that. That's salvageable. Okay, so let's do this again. Pasta? Not pasta. Filling? Here's the second one. Third. Okay, and then my water. Isn't that nice? And then along the bottom, just to make sure it's all gonna seal and essentially glue itself together. And look at that, that went even faster. I mean, now that I've got a method to my madness, it goes pretty quick. And then we get our cutter. Oh, that wasn't sealed. That's what's nice about using a small cutter like this. You can actually see whether or not it's all sealed. And you can see there it's nicely sealed. So So I'm going to go ahead and finish rolling out this pasta and getting it going, and then we're going to see the next step. See you in a moment. Now that didn't take long at all. I shut the cameras off and it was maybe 5 more minutes to get all of my ravioli, and I used up all of my filling. I had just a tiny amount of pasta dough left over, so I'm happy. But this is just part way. We need to heat up our stove and our burner, and we need to chop up some onion. A little bit of onion always goes nicely. And I'm using a green onion. And I only chop up to about there. And then I put this into some water. And then it'll grow more roots and it'll grow more green onion. And I put this out in my garden and I've got green onion all summer long. So for now, I'll just drop it into my plant. And with that, I'm going to do some sliced mushroom. It's nice having sliced mushroom. And I'm going to turn my pot back up to high. And you can see it's boiling there, so I'm going to turn it back down. So I'm going to put my butter in. You can tell it's nice and hot. And I want it to sizzle and melt quite a bit so that it actually starts to brown. And you'll notice browning, it'll be along the edges to start, but it's nowhere near that point yet. And when it's about halfway, so when it's fully melted, then I'm going to add in my mushrooms and my onions. Green onions don't take long to cook at all. And when I add the veggies, I'm going to add, I think, just one of the plates of pasta into my water. And yeah, we'll just enjoy it. Okay, so right here you can see like little bits of browning. That's great. It's starting to caramelize there. So this is where I add in my green onions and my mushrooms. There we go. Let's give that a light stir. And my pasta. Put that there. There's 1, 2. And because there's no meat in this, these don't take long at all to cook. There we go. And I'm going to get a plate for when they're done. Do a nice gold-rimmed plate. I'll remove that. So I'm going to turn my skillet down to low. You can see my pasta is bubbling. I'm just going to give it a little stir. And because they're so large, I'm just going to try and turn some of them upside down. Look at that. Oops. Okay, now I'm going to pull the noodles out. Now I want to be careful when I switch the noodles over to the sauce that I don't get too much water. It might splatter and burn me. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to put the rest of them in. Okay, so I have to take those out. I'm going to get some tongs. I personally think 4 is probably lots for a serving for a course plus a side. But right now my goal is just to get these out. There we go. And I'll get my, there we go. I have to be honest, I was a little nervous. I thought some of them were gonna burst or pop, but not a single one popped. You can see, like, right here, there's a little bit peeking through, but no, they held up really nicely. Okay, I'm going to turn that back up a little bit. It seems it's cooled down a lot. I can get rid of that. And let's flip these over. Don't these look nice? Okay, where'd my plate go? Oh, I used my plate. Oh, I'll have to get another plate. So let's do up a dish. Let's see, oh, that one looks really good. And some mushrooms. I'm going to put the rest of them over here. Look at this. Doesn't this look so good? So I think all that's left is really to try it. So I want to dig right into one of these ravioli. Oh. Mmm. Mmm. I love how with gluten-free pasta, or just gluten-free flour, you don't get that rubberiness if you overcook or overwork or a flour. And the blend of flavors is just so good. Let's see. I'm at a loss for words. It's unbelievable. If you're looking for the recipe, you can visit glutenfreeguide.ca. You can also follow me on any of these social media channels. And coming up next is this. See you soon.